based out of here in Northwest Arkansas, where the Walmart headquarters are. We launched AdFury.ai, and then we can automatically generate these ads. And so a lot of times with Retail Media Network,
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Eric from AdFury. Eric, thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your company.
hey, yeah, thanks, Carl, for having me on. Appreciate it. And thank you for listeners for tuning in. My name's Eric Howerton. I'm with a company called AdFury.ai. We're based out of here in Northwest Arkansas. Service agency specifically for the physical environment, the brick and mortar environment. When we started with that connected content partner program, I mean, it was new for Walmart. Like Walmart was in a position, this is back in probably 2014, 15. It wasn't that long ago, although there's lots changed since then. Walmart was, they had an awareness that their digital side, their digital commerce merchandising side was behind, of that of Amazon and some other ones. And so they really started making investments because they could see the customer behavior, right? Their own customers and other customer shoppers' behavior trends, just because that convenience of being able to, use your device and do some shopping, whether that was you buy online, research in store, or, the whole robo effect. And so Walmart really started making those investments, and part of that investment was starting that connected content partner program because there was other companies, not really us, but that had other brands that were at other e-com retailers. So they had already started building a catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And, that catalog had some important pieces of content that Walmart, needed into their main catalog. But all those companies were outside of the area. We were here locally in Northwest Arkansas, so we knew the community. We knew what the brands were really thinking about when they were thinking of Walmart. They were thinking the brick and mortar. The other connected content partners really couldn't see that. They couldn't talk to the community correctly, because it's just different space. And we were able to really bridge that gap. And we basically were a megaphone to that catalog ambition and really helped educate the area, helped suppliers understand why they need to do this and why it's important. And just kept marching forward. And because of our location and just our focus on helping Walmart win, we would just go so much deeper than anybody else, right? I mean, like a lot of times, other folks would just hit the surface of like, hey, Walmart requires, these amount of attributes in the catalog, and they're just kind of waiting on the suppliers to do it. Suppliers don't understand why they should do it. They don't even know sometimes that they should. And so, but that was that. But whereas we would go knocking on doors and saying, hey, you got to add this to this. Like, this is important. This is important for you. It's important for the customer. It's important for Walmart. And that was our ambition. And we worked it every day. I mean, just straight, bootstrapping. By the way, we started with $850 in the bank, built a company. And when we sold, I had half, and my co-founder had the other, or co-partner had the other half. And we never really took any outside capital. I mean, we had a really strong team of just very deep Walmart experts and digital commerce experts. And the business just kind of kept stacking on. As we would do one thing for a supplier, they would need something else. And we just kind of kept adding that on over the years. And because of our experience and our skill set, our team, we were able to just be really good about anything that we did. I mean, we just knew what buttons to push and what was needed.
That's awesome, man. I mean, listen, strategically located, Arkansas, Walmart right there. And I mean, I feel like you had this good understanding of of both customers, because I feel like you were kind of in the middle, the Walmart's customers, but Walmart itself. And I think that's what set you guys apart. I mean, hats off to you, man. I think, and also being able to sell to Flywheel. Did Flywheel come knocking on your door, or you guys said, hey, listen, you know what, this is up for sale. Let's see who comes and gives us some offers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the, we were kind of fortunate from a macro standpoint. I mean, COVID happened in 2020. We'd already been talking with folks for a couple of years at that time, as just the whole omnichannel, for many years, I'll just kind of say, everybody, when you thought of digital, they would think of Amazon, right? Walmart was an afterthought for people outside the area, specifically bigger companies, acquirers, investors, PE firms, VC firms, all that type of stuff, right? They just didn't see all the thing they could see is Walmart's brick and mortar infrastructure, even though it was the largest in the world and it's the best. They just could not see the vision of the Walmart executive leadership of, hey, no, we're omnichannel. It didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had experienced that before. But we saw it coming, and then, as that started inching up, and, Walmart would send out reports, to their shareholders and, their, their market reports. People started seeing this growth online, every year is growing and growing and growing, and people start taking it more seriously. So bigger companies are coming to us saying, hey, we work with brands, on their e-com catalog for Amazon, and but we don't, we go into Walmart, it's just a different platform, and you guys are the experts there. And so we had a lot of knocks on the door previous to COVID, but when COVID happened, it was just one of those phenomenons of where I think everybody woke up, sellers, suppliers, agencies, retailers, the customer, everybody under the sun was like, oh my gosh, the internet's really real now, and mainly because, and especially omnichannel is really real because if it's, yeah, because I have firsthand experience and I was so focused on it, it's like obvious to me. But when I talk about it, I don't know that everybody recognizes, like, when the world's largest retailer, brick and mortar retailer, shuts its doors and nobody can come in, but they're servicing all these customers. And then man, just the logistic part to that. Oh, and then by the way, everybody, before it shut its doors, everybody came in and bought all the stock and took it home. All the toilet paper was gone, all the toothpaste was gone, canned goods.
Yeah.
Just everything's taken off. But then what really became real and evident to all the customers and everybody else that was watching is the pickup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Store pickup. Like, you go online, buy it, go pick it up at the aisle, and I have my groceries, and that was really an eye-opening moment that just kind of accelerated this whole omni-channel vision into a true reality for folks outside of the ecosystem. And so when that happened, we got a lot more knocks on the door, a lot more serious escalated talks. Everybody was like recognizing, wow, this is a big deal. This is where retail's going. And so, we were talking to multiple folks, and then Flywheel was just or Ascential was the one that had a fantastic culture fit. I mean, they're looking to grow. They have, a lot of things they're wanting to do. A lot of synergies there, a lot of great people. And when we got acquired, we did some really fantastic work. And obviously they, Ascential and Flywheel did an excellent job as they got purchased by Omnicom. One of the largest holding companies in the world, and still doing great things today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like with you I would need like a 2-hour podcast. But before we jump to AdFury, one more question on the e-com space. Obviously, to your point, Amazon versus Walmart. At first, it was like, hey, listen, Amazon is the end all be all. That's what it's gonna be. And Walmart, we still see it as brick and mortar. Now, you mentioned that during COVID, obviously, things started shifting because they saw Walmart as what it could be online. So tell us now, actually, what do you think of the Amazon versus Walmart when it comes to e-commerce?
So when it comes to purely e-com, I think that we all know who the leader is. I think that omnichannel is still not completely actualized. Like, it's one of those, it's almost like it's an ideal as much as it is a vision, in the sense of where, the race for omnichannel is getting the product to the customer with the most convenient means necessary. And so one of my great analogies, or my great stories, examples that kind of always makes people agree with me. I have never buy any, I can buy right now, if I wanted a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, if I bought it online, it'll get here tomorrow, right? And that's kind of the Amazon thing, right? It's really quick. Well, good job, 24 hours. But if I could buy a 6-pack of cola and have it here in 10 minutes, which one do you think I'm going to choose? It's going to be the 10 minutes. And so, the time is such a precious, thing for the customer. And so the omni-channel race is the race to the most convenient method possible. And, I see that Walmart is the strongest at that. I think that they're still, they're constantly innovating and figuring out ways to make that happen. I see I do see artificial intelligence as being a big player. I mean, that's obviously something in the last couple of years that's been acclimating. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But at the end of the day, I mean, like these things are not easy things to figure out, right? I mean, they require a significant amount of capital, significant amount of testing. There's 1,000 things that could go wrong at any moment, with all kinds of stuff. It's just it's something to continuously figure out. But I'm optimistic. I guess my statement is omnichannel is going to beat e-commerce. Is really my big statement. Now, who wins omnichannel? That's yet to be determined, especially with AI coming in the mix. It does definitely kind of set up a different level playing field. But omnichannel should win because it's just more convenient.
Of
Period.
course. Yeah.
Because the customer wins.
Yeah.
And especially if you can get it at the same price with even more convenience, you know what you're going to do. Like it's an obvious decision.
Yeah. I mean, listen, great points. Great points. I think, we'll see where we're at in 5 years, 10 years or so, because I think that again we'll see another big shift. So,
Yeah. Well, one thing, Carl, I'm going to mention this is so there's another company that I own that's called Doing Business in Bentonville.
mhm.
It's dbbnwa.com. But it's dedicated to demystifying and advancing omnichannel retail. So
Awesome.
we've been doing that for a couple of years with content in there, a lot of great video shows with a lot of experts in different fields from supply chain to marketing, whatever. So if audience wants to tap into that, that's a great resource. Just to kind of stay with this whole discussion and
Yeah,
dialogue
yeah, yeah.
about what's happening in that space specifically. It's pretty neat.
No, 100%. I think I'll make sure to include this in the comments section of this video. But I guess, listen, we have just a few minutes left. I want to touch
Oh,
quickly on AdFury because ultimately this is what I wanted to discuss with you today. But you have such an
right.
interesting background that conversation took a turn. So AdFury, pretty much
Mhm.
right now, you guys are in beta phase, and you're trying to optimize the way that we we create advertising for lack of specificity. So obviously you were with White Spider, sold that, and now you moved on to this. Tell me why, and tell me what your long-term vision is for that brand.
I think that it's the same type of entrepreneurial perspective, right? There's work that people are not really wanting to do. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's not a lot of folks looking to have jobs that are resizing and reformatting creative to fit certain specifications. And, you know, we're focused on retail media networks, right? The same thing happens within social media. You're seeing a lot of these artificial, these AI programs that
Mhm.
can, adjust those. I mean, ours is designed for retail media. I mean, they have different requirements, sometimes a little bit more intense specifications. I mean, and so we want to take a lot of that production work off their plate, right? So that they can have more strategic thinking and be more creative in those types of things. And, our tool, the coolest thing about it is like we're an AI native company, right? So when we first started this company, like our first hires, one of our first two hires, we hired a full stack developer for the tech, and then we hired a AI architect that could start building our orchestration of AI tools, and we've been teaching this machine on what's the best delivery of creatives to produce in a very specific transactionable environment, right? Which, I mean, look, your Facebook post needs to be a lot different than your, Walmart or Amazon post. When they're in that bottom of that funnel, it's a different type of advertisement. I mean, it just requires there's a different experience. There's different specifications there, and so we're trying to make this to where brands and their creative teams can really stay at that high level and focus on these really important brand related things while we take care, of 80% of this work that's happening to create more of those things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because one thing that one example of what happens today is you might have a agency or brand that creates one display ad creative, right? And it has 12 different units, different sizes of that.
Hmm.
But they will take that and put that across maybe 20 different keyword phrases that they're targeting.
Hmm.
Our system can create immediately off that first one 19 other versions that are relative to that keyword phrase, plus the 12 ad units that go along with it. So you're talking hundreds of different creatives that are instantly done that you don't have to really touch other than approve, right? And that takes a lot of this workload off.
Yeah.
The accuracy's better. It's also considering the style guides, the legal parameters, the retailer specifications, the retailer style guides as well. And as we continue to grow, it's going to, consider industry best practices, trends, and seasonalities, all those types of things that just make your ad dollars go further with better return. It allows your team to do what they like to do and are passionate about how I'm doing it, and explore new innovative things, and just make everything a little bit better and faster and more enjoyable.
That's awesome, man. So, I mean, listen, I've spoken to a lot of people recently, and everybody keeps saying how, like, AI is going to keep growing. So a person referred to it as, AI is now like a toddler, and we anticipate that is going to, obviously, to keep growing like a normal toddler would. And I feel like your AdFury is not a toddler. I think this is the first of its kind that I'm hearing. And to your point, I think a lot of people are concerned, oh, AI is going to come and take jobs, etc. But my perspective is that AI will help you be better. I think this is exactly what AdFury will do for companies. It will give employees more time to go focus on the creative, on the fun stuff, for lack of a better term, and really AdFury just taking over the stuff that, to your point, that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I mean, actually, I've often talked about this too. I have over 20 years in marketing experience, and when AI started developing, I mean, it was really it caught me. It had me really contemplating and being a little bit concerned, just like the concerns you're bringing up. But the reality is that like anything else, industrial revolution, the internet, cell phones. I mean, you either adopt or you resist. Most people that resist end up adopting later on. And you talk about AI being in its infancy stage. I mean, what's really neat is that with the time period that we've been working on this, we've actually have like a teenager now. You can adopt AI now, and then, but 9 months, 12 months later, or a year or two, whatever, it's growing up on you because you have really worked, fine-tuned, niched out that AI, orchestration and all the tools and stuff. And that's been one of my greatest enjoyments about this company, is just seeing where we started to with nothing to where we're at today with this really complex, sophisticated program, plus a really excellent UX. Like that's something else I would say, that the tool, the software that we have, the UX is phenomenal. Like, and that comes into, and again, like we've heard of Cursor and Windsurf and other programming AI tools. Like, same principle there. Like, I mean, your programmers have created something that actually lifts them up, but if you adopt AI, you can work faster and do more things, but you can think about this user experience. And a lot of that comes into knowing why somebody needs to use a tool, right? I mean, we're not just, our ambition in a nutshell, we're not trying to create a tool that's disruptive and we exit out and go up these phases and series and get on the news about how awesome it was. Legitimately, we want to help these creatives. We want to help the brands. We want to help the retailers. We want to help the customer, everybody get more of what they want faster, more efficiently and effectively. And we know how to kind of do that. We know what they're looking for. We know the bottlenecks that the agencies face and the media buyers face. And we know the bottlenecks that the marketing teams face. We know the bottlenecks that the retailers are facing. Like, it's just all stuck there. We're going to open that ceiling up, just by providing excellent UX and very sophisticated and intelligent and fine-tuned AI orchestration that, that's responsible, ethical, that's on brand is a big deal. That's legal, that's considered all these different things and these sensitivities that you can't just jump into ChatGPT and create, right? I mean, it's, that's it. Those tools are not designed to do what we're doing. And yeah, we have a teenager now. It's going to be pretty cool to launch, and it'll be an adult really fast. Once the customers get in, the next phase is listening to your users and just adapting and adopting and changing and improving based on their feedback, and we're going to be relentless about that. So we're way ahead, like you said.
Hmm.
It'll be exciting, and we expect to really do effective work really quickly.
That's awesome, Mike. Listen, I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you,
Talking
man.
to you before, talking to you now. I mean, that's just awesome. I would love to have you again as a guest,
Yeah.
down the line, just so you can give us an update on AdFury. But I think for now, you definitely got a few of our listeners hooked, including myself, and I will be following you guys closely. So,
Cool.
Eric, listen, thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it, and definitely hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, Carl. Appreciate you.
All right.